Bow staff, strike with back of bow staff. We're going to take what we've learned so far and add one more thing to it. What we've learned so far has been practicing a 4-step process, emphasizing the first strike, which is kind of like a modified baseball swing, the right-handed type of strike, and then the next 3 steps being a setup. We're now going to emphasize the second of those 4 strikes, those 4 beats. And that second strike is with the back of the bow staff. So we're going to emphasize the back of the bow staff. So instead of saying 1, 2, 3, 4, emphasizing the first of the 4 beats, we're going to emphasize the second 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's going to be this side of the bow staff coming up in the up position, a bit of a more unexpected type of a strike and more unnatural to do. So we want to be able to emphasize that, and as we do that, as we emphasize the second strike, we can note that we can do the same thing all the way through. Each of these steps we've been learning can be emphasized as its own strike, and we want to basically go through the 4 beats and emphasize which one we're saying is the strike at that point. Normally, the first strike, the modified kind of baseball swing, is what we emphasize and are most used to. Now we're going to emphasize the second strike. You could do the same for the third and the fourth as well. As we go through this, note that the green part will be the tip of the staff or the top of the staff, and the red will be the bottom of the staff. We know it's just the staff, and the tip and the bottom are the same. However, it's good to note which we're seeing as the tip and which we're seeing as the bottom. So when we have our right-handed swing, we've been emphasizing the tip in the first of the 4 beats in our 4-beat swing. Now we're going to be emphasizing the second, the bottom part of the staff, and that'll be the number 2 out of the 4 beats. So prior to this, we've always been emphasizing 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. The 2, 3, 4 being the setup to get back to that one kind of baseball swing, the first swing with the tip. Now we're going to be saying 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, emphasizing that second beat, the second of 4, emphasizing the bottom of the staff. We're going to start off with the same stance we have seen in the past. So we've got our standard stance here, right-handed stance. It's going to be a modified kind of baseball swing. We're facing front as we go. As we start this process, note that normally we would be starting with a right-handed swing. The tip of the staff is in the back. We're going to bring that forward, and that would be 1, 1, 2, 3, 4. That would be our emphasis. Everything beyond that and the rest of the 4 beats is to bring it back to the setup process. Now we're going to be emphasizing the second. So we're actually going to be saying 1, and then this part of the staff will be over here, and then we're going to emphasize the second beat when it goes back up 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So here's going to be our first strike. So there's the first strike, and that's going to be our normally what we would emphasize. Now we're going to see that the staff is tucked in on the other side of our body. We're going to bring it back out, and that's when this tip, the back tip, is going to be coming back up. And that's the beat that we're going to emphasize. It's more unnatural for most people because this one is our modified baseball swing, and that's what we typically emphasize. The rest is basically a setup to get it back to that modified baseball swing. But now we're going to be emphasize the second of 4 beats, and that's going to be a little bit unusual for us to emphasize, and it's also more unexpected for somebody else, right? We're going to emphasize that upswing rather than the normal kind of downswing or normal baseball type swing. So it's going to be coming back up 2, 3, 4. So we'll emphasize that second one here. We're emphasizing the first one right now, but now we're going to go to the second one. So well, same stance, and then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. Notice as we come up, we got the wrist locked here, and we're really emphasizing a stall on that second position, as opposed to, as we saw in the first one, where we did kind of more of a whipping action as we did the first number 1 position. This one, it's easier to stall because that emphasizes it for us, and since it's more of an unnatural position, the stall kind of allowing us to emphasize it makes it a little bit easier for us to get used to it as the point that we're concentrating on. To do that, we're going to be locking our wrists. Notice that we're kind of getting under it here. We're getting under it. We're going to be moving our feet a little bit to emphasize that as well. As you do this, it'll probably hit your arm on this side a little bit more hard than it has in the past. So beware until you get used to it. You'll probably be hitting yourself a little bit harder on the arm. So get used to that. You might want a shirt on. Don't hit yourself too high. You don't want to be hitting the bone up top. You want to be hitting the meat of the arm. So we'll have 1, 2. Notice the angle of the leg here, the angle of the wrist as we're emphasizing going into it there. We're really getting under it. It will hit that arm as you go back around. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Notice at that last 3, 4, you're going to bring the tip up again or the backside up again. We're not emphasizing that one. You could emphasize it, however. You can emphasize any one of the 4 beats. They're all strikes. So as we focus on the second one, you could do the same for the third and the fourth. They probably have less power because they're on the same side of the body. We're emphasizing the cross body strikes as we go through the first and second. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Notice the shift of the body. You'll probably start to angle your body as you do this as well. So we're squared off at first, and we're kind of angling the body as we bring it back around. So you can get whatever feels right. You can move it around. You can angle your body in different ways. You want to get the flow basically just going. So you want to be able to angle your body in a bit different ways. You can step into the same kind of thing that we did before and step into it and move around with it. We'll look at all the... Now we'll take a look at the side angle. We'll do the same type of process with the side angle as we do so. Note we're starting with that low position. It's on our shoulder. We would typically bring the green side out. That would be the number 1 of the 4 beats. This time we're concentrating on the red component, the bottom, the back side of the staff as we bring it back out. It's going to go under the armpit and then it'll come back out, and that's going to be the second of the 4 beats that we'll have. So we'll bring it to the far side and then we'll bring it back out. We're going to go through the same 4 steps, 1, 2, 3, 4. The first one with the green coming out. We're focusing here on that second of 4. That's with the red, the back side coming back out from underneath our armpits as we go back out. As you emphasize, as you count through this, remember you could still emphasize the 1 beat being at the green tip going out forward and call that number 1 and count through the 4 beats. You could modify that too. You could say that you want the first beat now to be number 1 beat, be the actual red side, right? So you could start counting at the red component that we would typically see as beat 2 and call that number 1 if you would like to switch around your numbering process as you go through this. We'll have the same angle, a different angle. Note how we shift the body a bit differently as you switch these up and emphasize different areas. The emphasis of your body will differ as you go through this. Here we have an angle, a nice angle that we see the other side going under our armpit, and we get to see it, basically our best angle to see it go under our armpit and back out again. It's kind of a cross body motion, so we're emphasizing almost like a left-handed swing, but it's a left-handed swing coming up as opposed to most like a baseball string, which would be more of either a side string or coming down from a downward angle. So that's going to be a little bit unusual, a little bit unnatural for most people. Notice how it tucks underneath the armpit as we bring it out, and then we're going to basically emphasize it being underneath it as we bring it back out.